Today, I'm going to be showing you guys exactly how you're going to be able to get floor 100 in the Unbound Tower. Let's get straight into the teams. So the first one was mine. I had Alucard and Broly. Monarch is basically needed for this tower. You can, if some people don't have Monarch Alucard or some people don't have Monarch Broly, it's not the end of the world, but you kind of need those units Monarch because they're the main damage source. Then I got Baiken. Baiken I have Marksman just because of her range and her crazy ability to pull targets. It's basically like Ichigo's ability, but it only works inside her range, not the entire map. Then I got Rukia just because I didn't have another damage source, so I was using Rukia to do like her ability where she gives my units 50% more damage and 20% range. On top of that, she also acts as like a freeze/slow character. Then I had two farms with obviously Labubu's and Nami's Memoria because of the fact that it just causes them to get more money. Just want to say, Enthusiastic Walks is not needed on Baiken. I just had an extra one, so I might as well use it. You can put literally anything on her. Since she's also Marksman and doesn't do that much damage, get a Familiar and Memoria that are just the highest in range that you can give her, okay? Moving on to the second team, we have somebody who was basically borderline broke. They had like no other units that they could use, which this works perfectly fine. Unbound Tower isn't that difficult. We have Broly, Rukia, Alucard, and then 3 farms just in case this guy had to replace a lot. Might as well have extra money. He doesn't have another unit to put there instead. Not the end of the world. You can see he doesn't have Labubu's and we were still able to do it. And you can see his Familiars or Choppers, not the best, but it still works. And with Broly, you do not need Enthusiastic Walks. You just want to have the highest damage Memorias that you have and put it on him. If you have Enthusiastic Walks with high damage and range, might as well use it. It'd make it way better, okay? Moving forwards, we have somebody who was actually really good at the game, and this person had a bunch of Unbound units Monarch, so he ended up using them. You do not need all these extra units. It just highly helps to make the runs go quicker, okay? You're gonna want to make sure you have Alucard, Broly, not Griffith, sorry, Guts, and I don't remember this unit's name is exclusive. I'll put him up here on the screen. And then 2 farms. The 2 farms are obviously just because he doesn't have an extra slot to change, and then he ends up getting more money out of it. Again, you could get rid of, let's say for example, Sprint Wagon, and then you could replace it with Rukia, but it's just better to have the 2 farms. Next, we have somebody who is also running like basically a little bit of support because of the fact that he had Aizen. Aizen does slow, and he has his wall, which stops enemies from being able to move within his ability. I think it's called Diablo, not Diablo. I don't remember what the ability is called, but basically I think it's 20 seconds it stops them from moving, which is just a crazy good ability to use, especially at like the beginning when you have to do wave 10 and your guys aren't all leveled up. You could place the ability just so that you can get all your other units upgraded faster. And again, you see here he probably has Divinity on the True Savior, Ichigo's Memoria. That's why he put it on Broly. Again, if you do have Enthusiastic Walks and it's fully leveled up and fully upgraded, I fully recommend you going completely to that Memoria instead. But again, it is not the end of the world. Now let's get into the actual gameplay. So when you start off, you're going to want to be focusing on obviously getting your farms up. That's just normal. Whoever is running Baiken, you're going to want them to have it at the closest part of the map, and you're going to want to place them down as soon as possible so that you're able to get the 200% tension that's needed in order to use her pull. Another thing, you want to make sure when you're placing her that whenever you pull the ability and use it, the unit's inside the range and never left. Because if the unit leaves and then comes back, she needs to reuse her attacks on that unit to be able to have them tethered to her where she can pull them, okay? Next, when wave 5 happens, you're going to want to make sure that you're placing your Broly down and instantly using the ability, because the wave 5 is the most you can get out of his ability, because it's going to give all your Unbound units 100% crit chance. Some, depending on your Familiars, might have even more, but that will all just be changed into crit damage. And he gives 10% per wave, meaning you're going to get 100% extra crit damage and 100% extra crit chance per unit Broly himself is obviously going to have a little bit more, but again, Broly is just absolutely necessary. Whether you have Monarch or not, you just need to use him because of his high versatility with his ability and how much it actually affects and helps your entire loadout. Okay, I say loadout like it's Fortnite, but we all know I'm talking about your team. Next off, you're going to want to make sure that somebody is auto using Alucard's ability. And the reasoning being is because every time a unit dies inside his range, he gets plus 1% extra damage. So, not a unit, sorry, a summon. So when Alucard is actually placed down, you're going to want to make sure that you're using his ability as soon as you can, because all the units get the buff of 35% damage, okay? The person who is summoning ends up getting 5% damage per summon on the field that's theirs. So if somebody else uses Alucard's ability, you're going to get that 35% damage because of the fact that their summons are dying, but you're not going to get the extra, if they summon 10 at a time, you're not going to get the extra 50% damage from the summons on the map because you weren't the one to summon it, which is perfectly fine. Again, it's not going to affect that much, but you just want to make sure all the other units get that 35%. Moving forwards to later in the run, we have somebody who is just constantly making sure that everything's going smoothly. I'm the person who's doing that. I'm using Baiken. I'm constantly paying attention so that I could pull it at the right time. You'll see here in a second that I ended up pulling it right here. So I ended up pulling and using Baiken's ability, which was able to help us a ridiculous amount. I mean, I could have used it way later. I know that. You could see here that I was able to do so, but I knew we were gonna win because floor 100 on Unbound isn't that difficult. Baiken is so necessary though for this. It's ridiculous. I can't stress it enough. She basically guarantees the win up until basically floor 100. Again, you're gonna have to watch out for Toji on Shibuya Station, and you're gonna have to watch out for Giyu on Namek. And the reasoning being is because Toji is unable to get stunned or anything like that, so he just runs past everything. You can pull him, so you're most likely going to be able to do up until maybe like 80-ish. You're going to be able to use Baiken and pull him, and you're going to be fine. But after that fact, he'll have too much HP. It's not worth it. Might as well go back to lobby, get a new map, because your friends will have different maps than you do. It's completely randomized, which is cool, but you know, I wish it was set in stone so that like you'd have to have certain like strategic abilities for per like map. You get what I'm saying? Anyways, moving on to the end, you can see here, I know this is a shorter video, but you can see that we actually ended up winning. We're getting really close. We did really well. You can see at the end that it's already been completed because I passed floor 100 a while ago, but I just didn't make the video because I didn't have the people at the time, so I just offered to help other people on floor 100, and in doing so I ended up not getting a reward for floor 100, but you do get 100 rerolls. Do not stress about that. Everything's gonna be perfectly fine. I promise you. You're not gonna not get it like I did. That was strictly just because I've already completed it. And yeah, maybe I'll get like an Unbound 150 video out soon. We could probably make it to 150. I don't think 200 is realistic right now, especially with the loadouts that we have. There is many more that you can change and many more abilities that could be used. For example, if everybody ended up having guts for that damage, it would be amazing. We would have a lot more damage on the map. Again, it's not the end of the world that you don't have certain units, but some other ones we could have also thrown in there if we ended up having them was Psycho, because of the fact, or Psychosis, Unstable, because of the fact that he is a full AoE that does a lot of damage. There's also, I think it's Hellkiller. Yes, Hellkiller. We could have used him as well because he's also another high damage unit. Plus, when you use his ability, you can go first person and you could shoot at the bosses, making us overall just do much more damage. And there's also Goblin Killer for his utility. There's just a lot of other characters you could be throwing in here, but this is what we used. This is the cheapest way you could do it without having to grind all the old units. These units that I've listed are the ones that are very necessary to use. The other ones are just helping you do it faster. Anyways though guys, I hope you guys enjoyed. Have a great day, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Make sure to like and subscribe.